PlayStation Drive is starting. While you wait, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon on YouTube to be notified of future goodness. If you enjoy our show, we'd love it if you gave us a 5-star review or rating on your podcast service of choice. To continue the conversation, join the Carpool Gaming Discord, where you can find a wholesome community to have a chit-chat with. For some exclusive content, you can also support us on Patreon. And finally, don't forget to check out the Carpool Gaming website for an awesome range of merch. Links to all that and more are in the show notes, but without further ado, let's get revved up for the PlayStation Drive. Whoa!
Oh, hello, weary travelers. Welcome on in to the PlayStation Drive, episode 139. Of course, I am one of your hosts, Ryan, and I am joined by Fulia, Matt, and Ron. How's everyone doing this fine Saturday evening? Doing good. Yeah.
Excited. Very excited to be here.
Yeah. Matt, speaking of, being excited to be here, are you enjoying the fact that summer's back? Because it's like 5 degrees outside right now?
I'm not gonna lie, Ryan. It's kind of scary when one day it's -10, the next day, literally the next, or not even the next day, the same day, it'll drop back down to -5.
Yeah,
snow showers. Like it's a little scary in my honest opinion.
Yeah, I mean it's so weird. The weather here is so weird right now, but I had to bring it up because, of course, I'm the meteorologist on the Moose. We got to talk about the weather sometimes, y'all. That's just how this show works. Also, Riley King, Matt, is very jealous of your hat.
Yay! Someone likes the hat. I wasn't sure if I made the right choice with going to GameStop, because at Best Buy for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, if you pre-order there, you get another steelbook, but you also get the bangle. So I'm bangle-less, but at least I got the hat.
Wow. The true solution, as Ron knows, is just you should have just bought the game twice. You should have just bought the game twice. What were you thinking?
Oh. Ron, you should have pushed me to make some better choices. Come on.
If I was going to push you to make better choices, you would have gotten the game. The game would be still at the store.
God. Anyways, this is the PlayStation Drive. We talk about PlayStation all the time. So, of course, let's go to housekeeping. So we've got a couple housekeeping things tonight. It's just not new patrons tonight. So first off, we wanted to put this out there because we announced this earlier this week on the Discord, as well as we've been talking about it on all the podcasts this week. But we did a little bit of a shuffling with the when we post the audio versions of the podcast. And the main reason for this is that we've received feedback from a bunch of people that they don't necessarily love the fact that all of our podcasts usually release kind of on top of each other. They wanted us to spread them out a little bit. So of course, YouTube still be live every Saturday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here, like right now. If you're watching right now on youtube.com/carpoolgaming, that's not going away. In the video on demand, of course, will continue to live on in case you want to catch it the next day. Otherwise, the audio publishes to Patreon feeds Sundays at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the audio for free feeds for this show will actually appear on Tuesdays, or Tuesday, if you prefer.
Tuesday. At
9 a.m. Eastern Time. Again, this gives a little bit of an extra bonus for those who sign up on Patreon at the early access tier, because before, the early access famously was whenever Ryan posts the podcast at 2 a.m, and then you get it until like noon the next day as early access. But we wanted to reward those patrons that do sub at the $1 tier to get the early access, combined with the fact also that now like all of our podcasts are spread out, so we don't have anything else that releases on the same day, because we make too much stuff at Carpool Gaming. This is what happens when we make too much content. So there you go. So that's a little bit of housekeeping there. But also speaking of patreon.com/carpoolgaming, of course, we want to thank our brand new patrons over there, starting with HVAC Sparky for upgrading to the exclusive tier after checking out that 7-day free trial last week. We talked about HVAC Sparky that last week. Now HVAC Sparky again is back, getting them exclusives. Enjoy your new content. As well as we got Riley King, who's now checking out the 7-day free trial. Of course, Riley is here in the chat tonight talking about hats. We also got Josh Coltier, who officially joined the exclusive tier, and Ian Kegg, who also joined that exclusive tier shows. Shout out to all of our amazing patrons, just not just our new patrons, and enjoy brand new content, all of our new patrons. But without further ado, let's grab our 8 tracks, pop them in. It's time for the playlist. So let's talk about the games we played this week now. 2 of the 4 of you we don't have on the document. So those are the people that I'm going to pick on first to talk about games. So I'm going to go to Ron. I feel like Ron, every single week I'm going to you first for the playlist. So you're just number 1. You're number 1 on the playlist every week. That's just
it's going to be easy.
Work.
It's going to be an easy one. I'm at 94% done with Ragnarok according to the PlayStation. So I'm pretty sure we'll probably next time I play it, which might be tonight, might be in the morning. I'm not sure. I should be done with it, at least for the main story. And then I'll go do some trophy cleanup and get the platinum on it. But yeah, I got to say, I think that's going to end up replacing God of War 18 as top for the franchise for me. It's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot for it to go wrong for me to take that off. It's going to end up being top 5 all time for me. That's for sure.
Nice. Like your all-time favorite games?
Well, 18's on the list of top 5 right now. So if it's better than 18, I got to slot that out.
Makes sense.
So, yeah.
It's like this review I read back in the day for Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2, where in the review, the reviewer put, so, you know, I'm coming up with a score for this game, and I noticed that Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter got a 10 on our site, and this game's better than that, so this game also gets a 10. So kind of reminds me of that, where it's just like, well, you know, it's better than the last game, and that's in the top 5. So it's chance to go.
I mean, I love the last game, but Ragnarok just does everything to the umpteenth degree. So yeah. Nice. Looking forward to seeing how that closes out.
Nice. So since you got that, you know, almost coming to an end next week, do you have plans for what's next? I mean, has the wheel spoken yet as to?
Nah, I figured I'll get the platinum first, and then after I'm fully done with it, then I'll take a spin on the wheel and see what we got.
Okay, I'm excited to see what the wheel picks next.
I am too.
It could be anything.
It could.
It could. What about you, Fulia? What'd you play this week?
So I'm sort of just chilling out with Aiden Chronicle Rising. It's, for me, I feel like it's one of those games where I could just sort of jump in whenever, do a few quests here and there, continue the story a little bit more. And even if I do like half an hour to an hour, I'm actually pretty good. So I'm going to just keep playing it through. That's kind of my chill game at the moment. So I'm going to just keep playing that as is until 100 Heroes comes out. I also, straight after the podcast from last week, ended up downloading the Unicorn Overlord demo.
Let's go.
Let's go. Started playing it.
And what time did you go to bed that night?
I got so addicted to the gameplay that I ended up playing 2.5 hours of it. Didn't end up going to bed till about 2 a.m.
Yes. Let's go.
Yes, that's the way it should be.
So needless to say, you're in agreement with that game's pretty good.
It's very good. I'm really enjoying it. I love the fact that it has a story mode where I can just let it sort of play out. I don't have to do too much thinking, but I can still at least do a little bit of strategizing here and there, because I've never played a tactics RPG game before. So this is kind of my foray into it, like my introduction to it. So I'm glad that there is an easy mode for it.
Nice. Yeah.
So I'm enjoying it. Yes, Lockleth is also a fan.
Oh, you also got Lockleth in too. Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody's joined on the train. This is great.
Yes.
Yep.
My only concern about this game is the price point, and it's coming in at 94 Australian dollars for us. That's including tax.
Right.
Yeah. It's really high. So I feel like I'm just going to play through as much of that demo, even right up until the end of it, and then maybe wait down the track for a sale or something.
Yeah, because it's a Sega published game, so like they're kind of like Ubisoft, where a lot of times their games will go on sale fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So I think you're okay to wait if you want to.
Yeah. And not to mention the fact that the demo is, from what I'm hearing, quite long. So I can play through quite a bit of it. Yeah, I can play through quite a bit of it, and then I'll be okay.
Question from Ron from the press pool.
Yes. So Fulia, when are you going to download Spiritfarer and get that platinum?
Oh yeah.
Just want to put that out there. Just a question. No pressure.
That platinum is.
I'm sorry. What has that got to do with Unicorn Overlord?
unicorns, spiritfarers, they're both the same. It's fine.
That literally has. That's like one of the biggest stretches
Sure.
I think I've ever heard from you in
I
my
know.
entire life. I mean, also we're going to talk about that a little bit when we get to Quaggy's question a little bit later. 'Cause that ties into what you were talking about, Ron.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But as also what Lockleth has mentioned in the chat, I've also played through more of the Go-Go Town playtest, or a new playtest has been released. They're currently still in the middle of like going through and making the game, but they've added extra features to it, which I'm really excited about. I'm very addicted to this game. It's a town management sim where it's got some farming elements, but it's mainly you're the mayor of a town that's run down, so you need to build it up again so that the higher ups can make their profit. And you need to try and get people to live in your town, employ them to do get them to be the automation there's an automation system in the game where you get them to do all of the resource collecting. Then you can hire people to be the couriers so that they can deliver all those resources to the shops and the restaurants that you'll end up building. And it's a fun time. It's very addictive. And you can design your town as well to however you want it to be. It is so much fun. I'm very addicted to it. So that is one of those other things that I've been playing. Sort of going sideways from playing games to watching something that's gaming related. I ended up watching the Hideo Kojima documentary on Disney Plus.
Oh, that's
Were you
nice.
sober while you did it?
Yes, I did. Yes, I was.
He's a visionary. Come on, stop.
I just wanted to ask. I
was curious. I've never played a Hideo Kojima game in my life.
It's probably a good thing. Outside of the first Metal Gear, play that.
Ron.
I'm gonna put it out there.
But I have seen the games being played, and I know what they kind of look like and what they entail. It is very interesting to find out the way that he thinks in terms of creating games and designing them, and the way that he's constantly working on it. And he said, it's not a Hideo Kojima game unless I'm in it from start to finish. Like if he's involved in it from start to finish, that to him is a Hideo Kojima game, which is a really cool thing, which means that he's not just overseeing it, he's also involved in it. And I love that. In someone who's, creating this whole production company. He said that he moved away from Sony because he wanted to do his own thing. And that's also really cool. Apparently his office is like across the road from Sony.
Yeah, it is.
Which is funny. He's like, look at Sony over there kind of looming over us. Yes.
I gotta know before you get to the end. Maybe I'm jumping ahead, but is there a Hideo Kojima game you want to play now after you've watched the documentary?
Please God, no.
I don't know, because the documentary itself mostly touched on Death Stranding and how that came to be, and they also interviewed some of the cast members as well. Look, I'm not saying I'm going to play it, but it was interesting to see how that was made.
It's fine. General. It's one of the greatest games of our time. It's fine. It's totally cool.
He didn't talk about Metal Gear at all?
Nope.
That's astounding.
Well, that makes sense. But you have to remember
that one.
Like this documentary was produced post the Konami stuff, so it's just like he probably either can't or he doesn't maybe want to touch that. Like there's probably certain rules when it comes to him talking openly about like the development of Metal Gear at the moment. Likewise, like if you watch a lot of the extra stuff that's on like the Metal Gear collection, like none of it involves Kojima. It's himself. So.
That's a damn
shame. Damn.
Yeah. But the way that they put this documentary together, it's not just going around and doing interviews and then getting cutaways from their office and how they're working on it and stuff like that. They also did like their own little sort of animation clips. They've added in animation clips into it. They've given you kind of like a very retro sort of aesthetic in seeing, Hideo out on the streets. It's kind of like they have a filter, a very cinematic. sort of cutaways and stuff when there's no sort of dialogue happening and we're just sort of seeing him just walking through the streets, or maybe you hear him talking in the background sort of stuff. It's a really well presented documentary about him. And so I'd say about maybe 40% of this documentary speaks on Death Stranding, but then the rest of it is about Hideo, his colleagues, and his production company, which is really, really cool. And I found it very insightful just to learn about how his mind works.
Nice. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm amazed they even managed to fit the mind of Hideo Kojima into a documentary, because he's like, you have to think about it, like he's one of like the very few gaming auteurs out there. Like he's like the equivalent of like a Spielberg or a Scorsese when it comes to, you know, game directors. And we just don't see that very often with you know, game developers at all. Like most of them, you just aren't even really in the public eye at all, let alone not in the forefront. Like other than, you know, Neil Druckmann, a few others that kind of fit sort of the same bill as well. So it's interesting. I haven't you know, watched yet, but you know, you got me interested for you. I'm interested in maybe checking it out.
Oh, and Mr. Jeff Keighley is also interviewed in this. So
No, of course he is.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Good grief.
Of course, why not?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they?
But I do know that I don't think it's on Disney Plus in the US. I believe it's on Hulu.
Yeah, because it's on Disney Plus in Canada as well. Because like,
Yeah.
I think all the countries that don't have Hulu, it's on Disney Plus, and then it's on
Disney
Hulu
Plus,
for
yeah.
everywhere else. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't have Hulu in Canada either.
We don't have it in Australia.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Nice.
Yeah.
Now, Matt, before I go to you, I'm going to quickly do mine because you've got the longest one. You're the star of the show this week when it comes to the playlist. So for me, I mean, it's the most boring set of 2 games I could probably have on there. So I decided that this week, I wanted to do all the stuff I wanted to do in Final Fantasy 14 basically before the expansion comes out, because I'm going to take a big long break because I want to start getting through some of these games that I have just sitting piling up this year that I just haven't devoted enough time to. So this week I did a bunch of stuff in Final Fantasy 14. I got my level 4 legendary weapon for my monk, which is the highest weapon, basically the best weapon in the game that I can get for my character at the moment, as well as, you know, did all the side quests and stuff, basically everything I need to do before the next couple patches come out, before Dawn Trail comes out. So I did all that stuff that week. That took a primary part of the week, and then I played more Persona 3 Reload. I'm not done yet, but I'm very close to the end. I just hit January, so the game itself is like in like it's the final month essentially. So I should definitely have that done by next week. And then, you know, Unicorn Overlord comes out this week. So I have marked my calendar. I am ready. You know, Persona 3 Reload should take me there, and maybe I'll play some Suicide Squad before Unicorn Overlord comes out. But I'm ready. I'm ready to hail our Unicorn Overlords on Friday. Ron asked you a question in the press pool.
Was the Suicide Squad part a joke?
No.
Or you're serious? Oh, okay.
I'm serious.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure. I need the clarification. That's okay.
No, it's on there. I mean, it's also that, or it's either that or it's Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. I'm also excited about Plumbers Don't Wear Ties this week as well.
All right. I just want to get clarification. Just wanted to make sure. I mean, Warner Bros. Will appreciate you. There's only like 5 people playing it. So get out there.
Someone
now there's 6.
Someone else on this podcast has to represent Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League. And I, dear listeners, feel like I need to be that.
Yes, jump on that. Jump on that bomb. Take it for all of us.
Well, actually, like the reason why I think it would actually perfectly fit in this week is because it's a short game, so I could probably play through it pretty quickly. Like I probably could finish it this week. So
that's fine.
Yeah, Riley King out there
how short is it?
coming to bat for me as well, saying I'm ashamed to say I bought Suicide Squad and beat it as well. I think it's supposed to only be like 10 to 15 hours to beat. And then there's because then there's all the end game stuff and
keep the torture short.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Wow. But that's the thing. Everyone hated Avengers, and I really liked Avengers. So like it's one of those things where like, you know, people don't like Suicide Squad, but the people I've talked to who like this game are also the same people who I know like similar games to me. So that's why I feel like I'm okay to that. I might actually
get enjoyment out of it. It's all good. It's all good.
Exactly. But enough about me. Matt, you're on the hot seat this week. So first off, I want you to tell me about Wizard with a Gun first, and then I have questions for you.
No problem. So Wizard with a Gun is the latest Backtrackers game, and it's like a gamer's game where there's a lot of deep system mechanics. And when I say it's a gamer's game, that's a nice way for me to say like it's pretty hard, at least for my standards. Um, so to describe it, I've only played about an hour-ish, but I think I have a good sense of the game. So there's a lot of systems and mechanics. So one of them, most importantly, is a twin stick shooter. So I'm already at a disadvantage because I really can't multitask. In addition to twin stick shooting, it's also like kind of like a heavy crafting game. So you have to collect wood and metal and then break it down and make ingot to make different types of weapons and armor in order to further progress. And it's also there's some souls elements to the game as well. So for example, when you're out doing a run and you're collecting resources, if you don't make it back in time and you die, you lose all your resources. Bowser in the chat points out a very, very good strategy for gamers. Read the tutorials. And I agree. You really should read the tutorial. You know what? Maybe maybe I would have succeeded if Wizard with a game treated me like I was 5 and just narrated everything, but there's a lot of text, which I skipped.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course you did.
So in addition to twin stick
Why would you do
shooting,
that?
trying to collect everything, and the Souls like elements, the systems all work and they work very well. It's just overwhelming for me to do all of it at once. So there's also a timer as well.
It's a Lockwood's point.
Yes, lock.
I don't want to read. I want to be read to at my
See, you know what? I kind of understand where you're coming from because I bought a PC game back in the day called Star Wars Rebellion, which is a Star Wars strategy game, and it came with a 450-page manual for the game. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not reading this. I'm just going to go in. And I was so lost. I had no idea what I was doing playing that game. And I was like, okay, maybe I should read the manual. And I read the whole thing, all 450 pages.
Oh man, no.
But anyways,
Wow.
continue.
So yeah, there's also a timer. So when you go out, you have about 5 minutes to progress as much as you can before you come back. So again, there's a lot of systems that work very well. Like it's highly regarded by critics. Like I think it's like 90 plus. But again, it's like a gamer's game. Like you gotta be pretty good at it, or you have to be patient and read the tutorials.
You're not selling on me. You're not selling this on me, Matt. This is not a savvy game at all.
Yeah.
No.
Hashtag get good.
Hashtag get good. That's not me. It's too harsh for my soft squirrel skin.
Squirrel skin. I knew it was coming.
Yeah, couldn't do it. So pausing it for now. I might revisit it, but truthfully, because my most anticipated game of the year has come out, I might not get back to that. Yeah, that's because I've finally dived into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh, hold on. I want to go to Awesome Dave 1337 before you start your thoughts here. Who asked the question, thoughts on impressions on Final Fantasy VIII Rebirth? I especially want to know what Simple Prime thinks about it. Obviously, he meant Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but wrote 8 by mistake. So,
was it a mistake? Was it?
I mean, we did ask him about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that was actually."
I mean, to be fair, rumors of a remake of Final Fantasy VIII have been around for quite a few years now. You never know; he might be onto something.
For the love of God, no. Yeah, I feel like that's a perfect way to kick it off, since we did, of course, get a question asking, "What are your thoughts and impressions of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?"
I'm not that far into it. I've played the PlayStation clock says 3 hours. I feel like I've only played about an hour, but maybe that's a testament to how much fun the game was. In terms of combat mechanics, I dived right back into it very seamlessly. I don't think I've really grasped the synergy moves yet, but I'll play around with it. For this game, I will read the tutorials so I can figure out what to do. But otherwise, the combat system still works very, very well. The graphics are stunning. The music, I don't know, y'all. Like, if the opening soundtrack doesn't give you goosebumps, like, come on. Like, it hits you so hard at the title screen. Like, it's just so epic and so grand. So it was fantastic to dive right back into. Truthfully speaking, though, I think Ryan mentioned this. You really need to play Remake before you play Rebirth, because I played Remake twice, and the way this story kicks off in Rebirth, even I'm like, what is happening? Like it's going a little bit off the rails already, but you know what? There's 150 maybe 200 hours, depending if I'm going for that platinum for me to soak up the story and for it to all make sense. We'll see. But otherwise, I'm having so much fun, messing around in photo mode. I learned how to play the piano. Took me a long time, but I did learn how to play the piano for Ron.
Yeah.
Played him a happy birthday song because his birthday is very close. When's your birthday?
It's June 9th. It's not close at all. You know that.
I was gonna say my birthday is first. My birthday is in like 19 days.
Wow.
It's for the entire crew.
Yeah, there you go.
Dedicated.
It's all our birthdays.
It's everyone's birthdays. So
it was my gift, and now you give it to everybody. What's going on here?
You didn't want it.
You're welcome.
You re-gifted it, Ron. You're a re-gifter.
Oh my god.
That's what besties do. But no, I'm having a blast. It just feels like such an epic grand adventure. The only thing that I can say that's a bit off is, just because I've been sharing, pictures and what I've done so far with some of my best friends, and I do wonder like if I'm missing something from a nostalgic perspective, because even when I was describing some of the story beats, and they're not spoilers in the sense, my best friend was already like, "Oh, I can't believe they did that. I wish I could see that because he doesn't have a PS5." And for me, when I was playing it, I didn't have that sense. I've played the OG, but I don't have that childhood emotional attachment to it.
Mhm.
So I do feel like I'm missing out in that aspect. But otherwise, fantastic game so far. Very excited to see if it sticks the landing in terms of the story. But one thing at a time. Ron from the press pool. Question.
Yes, I want to ask: are the AI companions still dumb?
They were never dumb to begin with. That's what I have to say. I love the combat system in this. Like, I loved it. Even before I went for the platinum and remake, when I just did the normal run, I found it so fluid and addictive in terms of switching back and forth between characters. My main in remake was Tifa, and then giving commands to Aerith or to Cloud, or switching to them briefly just to do like a limit break and then come back. I personally liked it. But I know some people have. You're not the only one, Ron, that said like it's very, very clunky. So
Yeah.
I have heard that. That wasn't my experience. Riley's asking from the chat, am I a frames guy or resolution?
Now, before you answer that, CrocoKyle has basically the same question. I want to loop him in as well. CrocoKyle asks, for those of y'all enraptured with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth right now, are y'all playing in graphics or performance mode? Listening to Giant Bomb, they were almost all playing in graphics mode, but as good as it looks, it feels way too choppy for me. So I'm playing in performance mode for smooth 60 frames per second. So go ahead and mention what you're playing on.
I'm a performance person. Performance mode for life. Every game. My TV can't even output 4K anyway, so graphics mode would be a frivolous gesture. So no, I'm all about the frames. But no, I'm really excited to see if, like I said, if it sticks the landing and if it will be my game of the year, but only time will tell. I haven't decided about the platinum, just because the guides have come out that said it's around 150 hours to 200 hours.
You can do it.
At my skill level, it's around 250. At first, I had quite a visceral reaction to it, but then when I hear stuff like when Ron's encouraging me to do it, my best friend who helped me get the platinum trophy in remake, when he's kind of getting hyped for it and kind of talking about it, it makes me want to go back for it, because remake was a really good platinum. So if Rebirth has a similar one, like, I kind of want to try, but there's other games to play, so I don't know. I think my game plan is do as much as I can in one run, and if I'm not sick of it, I'll continue. But if I need a break, I'll take a break and I can go for the hard mode a bit later. Yon32 wants to know about waifus and husbandos. It's a Final Fantasy game. It's waifus and husbandos galore. Like, look at the cover art.
Tifa all day.
It hits you so hard. Yeah. Hashtag Team Tifa all day.
Yeah.
Hashtag Team Barrett all day. Like, come on.
Well,
like,
it would be hashtag Team Jesse, but
spoiler alert.
She's gone.
I mean, no fans of Red 13 here. The bestest boy riding a chocobo. Like, what's going on here?
Everyone has seen Barrett in the sailor outfit. Like, then come on. Like,
good point.
It's hard to say no to that.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah, nice, good stuff. Yeah, I know. Like, going back to the frame rate, like the graphics mode versus the performance mode. We talked about it on last week's show, but I feel like and this is after watching, Digital Foundry's performance evaluation as well. Like, if you have a 4K TV, the performance mode looks really rough. Like, it does not look good. Like, it looks like it's out of focus, and it looks very pixely. Like, it doesn't look like there's a sharp downgrade versus the performance mode. But I think because you're actually in an advantage on playing on a 1080p TV, where I just don't think you'll really notice those complaints as much. So I think it makes a lot of sense to play it on performance mode there. Whereas, like, in CrocoKyle's question, he mentioned that most of the people on Giant Bomb are playing on graphics mode. I think that's why, because if you're playing in 4K, it makes sense to do. Like, I noticed the difference immediately, and it was so off-putting that I had to just switch to graphics mode because of my 4K TV. So I think that plays it a little bit into it, despite the fact that I'm kind of like you, where I'm mostly a performance person too, if that's an option in a game. But nice. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad, like, the biggest game is here. Of course, you will continue to report on it for us since you are currently the only one playing it. I know that I talked about it, or I guess I didn't mention this, but after last week's show, I made the decision that I'm just going to wait on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at this point, because Unicorn Overlord's coming this week, and that's kind of all I
game. Yes, Unicorn.
Yeah, exactly. So plus, it sounds like, I mean, Ron, are you? I don't think, obviously the wheel's not picking it right away, so I think I'm the only one who's playing it.
Even if it was on the wheel, no, no, I would never put that on the wheel because I would never want to play it. So we're good. I'll watch a Let's Play. I watch a Let's Play so me and Matt can talk about it, but nah.
Yeah. Okay.
I got you.
Yeah. So I mean, Unicorn Overlord, I think I'll be the only one playing it anyway, so I think it'll be perfect that I'm playing it instead of Rebirth this week. So, there you go. So that's all the games we've been playing. But let's let some of our friends into the car with us. It is time for the carpool. We've got a question that was pinned from last week's show, pinned specifically for me, because I couldn't answer this, and I wanted to show some stuff off. This comes to us from Kiku, who says, "We all know you guys love playing games, but do you enjoy collecting games as well? What part of your collection is your favorite?" And of course, since all my collection was in boxes last week, I couldn't really show anything off. So I wanted to show off some cool stuff this week. So first off, I collect a bunch of games. Like I have a bunch of, PS1 games, PS2 games, Sega Saturn games, Sega CD games. I've still got the Sega CD games in the boxes somewhere. I still haven't dug them out yet. So I'm not going to be able to show them off tonight. But I got some cool stuff. For example, this copy of Silent Hill 3 on the PlayStation 2 in like a nice fancy case, because this is like a very, very clean copy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like this is one of my all-time favorite horror games, and I'm so glad that I have it, because these have been, like, horror games on the PlayStation 2 in particular have like skyrocketed in price. Like, it's nobody's business, because of the fact that, like, people are really nostalgic for these games, or people who are growing up with horror games now are like going back and playing these games after watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. So it's so cool that I'm so happy that I have this in my collection and haven't got rid of it, especially because there is like an HD quote unquote remaster of Silent Hill 3, but it's terrible. Like, Konami totally botched the port of both 2 and 3 that they did for the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. So I'm so glad that I kept the original version, and this is, of course, is kept in a special case because it is pretty expensive, but definitely one of my least expensive games I'm about to show tonight, because the next one, as Ron knows, Working Designs games kind of goes all out, or they used to go all out with their packaging with their games. So one of the ones I wanted to show off here, this is Growlancer Generations, the deluxe edition for the PlayStation 2. And of course, it's got nice, cool anime art on the front. But this, of course, was localized by Working Designs. And I want to show off some of the goodies that come inside the box.
The chunky box. Look how big that box is.
Yeah, it's really big. So first of all, you got the main game here, but it's got like a holographic look to like the logo, which is really cool. Cool. But then, like, one of the interesting things about Working Designs that most people don't know is that their disc art is different. They basically do like different print runs of their games, and the disc art changes. So they're like, collect all 7 different disc arts for your games. It was like a whole thing that they did back in the day. It wasn't just, collecting about all of the, like all of the different box arts and stuff like that, or the steelbook and stuff. No, collect it, like, just buy the game 7 times so you can get like the 7 different disc variations. That used to be a whole thing that they used to do. But in the box, we also got this nice cool soundtrack for the game, and this nice, paper thin sleeve with all the characters and stuff. And then it comes with this this ring that is in this box here that I'm not going to pull out. So it's got some cool, interesting stuff. And of course, this is from the game itself. So nice. I really like this package. It's really cool. This is
like their time, man. God.
Yeah. Well, and this is actually like what's interesting, Ron, is this is one of the last releases we ever got from Working Designs, because they had stopped making games around this time, because they went out of business, I think, in like 2006, 2007, and they became a different company after that. And the other one I want to show off is this big chunky boy. This is Lunar 2 Eternal Blue on the PlayStation 1. And
nice.
Look at how thick. How thick this box is. This PlayStation 1
thick boy.
Yeah. So first off, this has like an open up cover on the front of it. So it's got like this pull tab, and it shows off like all the different cinematics in this game on this like film strip, but then also giving you like a description of the game. But then some of the cool stuff that we got inside this box. First off, it comes with a hardcover version of the manual for the game. So it's like the manual, and it's all like in color, and it's got these like cool diagrams and stuff, and like a bunch of information about the characters, like in an interview with one of the developers of the game and stuff like that. It's also got like a mini strategy guide when you get towards the back, so you can kind of like get started with the game without like a prima strategy guide. Again, you've also got a soundtrack from the game. You've also got the game itself, and what was cool about this is that the game itself was only on 2 discs, but this is a 4-disc box. So on the other side here, we've got a making of disc for the game. So the localization of the game that Working Designs did, they did like a whole documentary and put it on like a video CD, because this was before DVDs. It's the PlayStation 1 that we're talking about here. So they have this like, whole documentary on here, which is like so cool. It's like one of the coolest things out there. Like no one was doing this at the time. Nobody. There weren't even really collector's editions at the time, let alone documentaries about video games, which was just the weirdest thing to me, but it's so cool. And then last thing here, we've got this little, box here with the cool artwork in it, but it's got like all these little like stand-up figurines of all the characters, and there's one for every character in the game, and there's like 60 of them in here that you basically stand up. It's basically like creating your own version of like Guess Who, but with the Lunar 2 characters, essentially. So yeah, like that's all the stuff in this cool box. I love that. That's one of the things I love about collecting some physical games is just showing off, like getting to look at some cool and unique things that they really thought out of the side of the box work. Because again, like I said, these like Working Designs was really ahead of their time, where there just weren't other games like this that were packaged this way at the time. So it was so cool to see a company go out. But of course, the true prize of my collection, the final game I'm going to show off. This is Friends, the one with all the trivia on the PlayStation 2.
Oh my!
Of course, this is the only video game based off the hit TV show Friends, because of course it is. And for folks that are asking, it's a trivia game, like Trivial Pursuit, but it's Friends themed. So
I thought it was going to be VIP. He threw a curveball.
No, so of course you've got like they ask you all kinds of questions here. They even kind of do it like in kind of like the theme of like the game show episode that they did of Friends. They kind of do that.
Did you pay for this game?
Yeah,
I would have.
Ask how much I paid for this game.
I don't want to know.
No, you want to know what I paid?
I don't know.
I bought it for 50 cents at a garage sale.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm also like, Friends is like a guilty pleasure show for me, so I'm like,
so
I had to have this. I mean, it's up there in my collection, Ron, with VIP starring Pamela Anderson, James Cameron, Archangel, and of course the Queen, Britney's dance beat on the PlayStation 2.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
So there you go. Those are some of my collections. Of course, I also have a big collection of 4K movies. I was thinking about bringing some of those out, but I was like, I feel like I showed off enough today.
Kiku's like, Friends ruined it. Time to leave.
Yeah. Good God.
Oh God.
Boy.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. We got Quaggy, who writes in a question. Let me tell you what, it's a question. I want to free y'all from your chains. On last week's episode, each of y'all described the agony and boredom for pursuing a platinum trophy. It was a sorry state of affairs. Abandon these ideals as your false gods. Just play fun video games. Will you take up the mantle of Nintendo, or as Ron refers to as the hot potato, which has no concern of these trophies, and just play fun video games? So I think this is an interesting thing, Quaggy, because I only ever go for the platinum if it's a game I'm really enjoying and I want to go for the platinum for it. And I think it's attainable. Like, I don't play games that I don't enjoy for the platinum. So I'm kind of already doing what you're telling me to do anyways. And Ron, you mentioned you do the same thing, right?
Yeah, Valhalla, me and Quaggy kind of talked about that real quick. Valhalla was one thing where I enjoyed Assassin's Creed. I platinum most of those. So it was one of those things where I kind of was like, already had my mind made up I was going to. The game disappointed me. I didn't hate it though. And that's why I kind of pushed myself through to go ahead and get it done. I'm like you. If I'm not enjoying the game, first of all, I'm probably going to stop playing it in the first place. Yeah. I'm definitely not going to push myself to go through the platinum if I just despise the game. That's not happening.
Yeah.
It's a weird relationship with some of these platinums. I'm not gonna lie. Like there's some games that I love, but the platinum trophy wasn't fun. But it's because but for some weird reason, I love that game so much. And if the platinum's attainable, then I feel like I have to go for it. So Sleeping Dogs is an example of that. Like that game is phenomenal. Like it is such a underrated game. That platinum though, not hard, but not fun either. It's kind of grindy. Like I think one of them is like hop over a car 50 times. Like it's stuff like that. It's not hard to do, but I'm not having fun going back and forth, hopping over the car either. But for some reason, I was like, but I love this game so much, I had to go for the platinum. I don't know. It's sometimes I do those kind of things, and then if it's a game that where I don't really like the game that much, and the platinum's not fun, then I will drop it. Like the last Backtrackers game, Superliminal. I wanted to see if I could do the platinum because it said it was a 3 out of 10 difficulty. Yeah, I agree that it's not that hard, but that's really not a fun platinum at all. That's just a very tedious collectathon. But for the most part, I will say like I do want to go for the platinum if I do like the game, and especially if the platinum trophy is done methodically really well. So, for example, Resident Evil 7, in order to get the platinum, you do have to beat the game on the hardest difficulty. And that's a really good game changer because they actually changed the placements of enemies and the harder difficulty. So even though if you've practiced a few times in easy and normal and you kind of know where everything is, and then when you play on normal, when you play on the harder difficulty, the spooks are back because you don't know where the enemies are. So again, it's kind of like a brand new experience. There's only manual saves. So the harder difficulty in Resident Evil 7 taught me that, well, I can't really play the same way that I used to, which was kill everything and then walk around peacefully. It was, get the hell out as fast as I can so I can get to the end. So it depends on the developer if they put in some thought and effort into making the platinum so that it's more enjoyable and kind of brings out more of the game, I would say. But I don't know. Maybe I didn't sell it correctly on the last show, whatever I was talking about. It's usually not agonizing. It's usually adds like a new memory to the game, to be quite honest, because you kind of go back and do something different.
No, I was gonna say, I think what got Quaggy was actually Fulia talking about her experience with Spiritfarer, which
yes.
sounded like a miserable experience, I think, to Quaggy. So I think that's kind of what spurred this question on.
Yeah. Look, to be honest, the only reason why I found myself trying to force that platinum is only because I do like Spiritfarer. I really enjoyed playing the game. It wasn't like I wasn't enjoying it at all. It was just the fact that it was not spawning this one fish that was really annoying me like to no end. And it was the only fish that I needed to platinum the game. And I would have been so happy if I could have been, if it just was able to spawn that one fish I was looking for. But in saying that, the fact that I really enjoyed playing Spiritfarer meant that I just wanted to go back and play more of it. So even despite the fact that the fishing element of the game was the part that was kind of frustrating me a little bit. I still ended up, continuing. Like I'd leave it for a little bit. I'd go off and do something else in the game, and I just play through it a little bit more. And then maybe the following day, because it goes by a day cycle, you go back to that same spot and see if you can find that one fish. So I kind of went with that because the fish only spawns at a certain time of the day. So that was the only reason why I found myself really frustrated with platinuming that game specifically. But when it comes to platinuming games in general, I'm not a massive trophy hunter, but I generally, if I am trophy hunting for a specific game, it's something that I'm really enjoying. Like I'm really loving it, and I want to go through it and pick up everything as much as possible. And if I find myself that I'm maybe a couple of trophies away from platinuming the game, then I'll go ahead and platinum it. But I've only mostly became a trophy hunter within the last year or two, just because of the fact that there have been games that are coming out on PlayStation that I've really been enjoying. So and if it's a game that I'm really obsessed with, like Spiritfarer, then I'll definitely try to platinum it. Yes, Ron.
For sure.
For the audio listeners, I want to make it very clear that Fulia is downplaying her trophy hunting. She has like 32 platinums already this year. I just want to put that out for everybody. So we'll make that clear. Queen. Yeah, Platinum Queen. You don't easily earn a title like that. But continue. Carry on, ma'am.
I mean, at this time, Fulia is still the only person on this panel with platinum trophies.
Yeah, that's right. Year. It might change by the end of this weekend. But I'll only have one to your 32. That's why I got a long way to go.
That's true.
You stop exaggerating how many platinums I have.
You're so modest and humble.
More than us.
Yeah, you're so modest and humble. I love it.
I'm still stuck on 4.
I mean,
sure.
I mean, but that's 400% more than the rest of us.
See,
like,
I mean,
people are going to start calling Fulia the new Kevin Ainsworth pretty soon if she's not.
Oh, no. I do not play at the speed that he plays. No.
Kevin blinks and the game is done. No.
Also, shout out to Kevin Ainsworth. He doesn't. We don't give him enough appreciation on this show. But
Kevin's my guy.
Out in the community. And of course, Kevin, I saw him playing Heavy Rain on his PlayStation this week. So shout out to Heavy Rain. It's a good game. But just to kind of round out this trophy talk, I mean, there's a reason why I don't have the platinum for Final Fantasy 14 as much as I love that game. It's because it's all the trophies I'm missing are like spending thousands of hours doing an activity that I don't find fun. So why would I do that? Like, why would I put myself through that? Like, that's like, I got all the trophies that I wanted to get for it for the base game, and I'll continue to get more trophies when Dawn Trail, the next expansion, comes out. But like, I'm in no rush to get that platinum, and I've kind of just set my eyes on just never getting that platinum at this rate, and I'm okay with that. But.
Yeah, look, it's if the platinums are achievable, if the trophies are achievable, then I would definitely go for it. But if it's something that's gonna take me like over 100 hours, like Persona, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Well, that's just playing the game. That's just playing the game for you. That's not even just getting the platinum.
No, exactly.
Well, that's not true. Or if it's, Kevin got the platinum, and he said it was only like 30 hours.
Well, that's because Persona 3 is one of the shorter Persona games.
Yeah.
He got Persona 5. That was the one that I think he got the plat on.
But also, I don't particularly like trophies where there's a difficulty trophy. I'm not the type of person that would go back and play it on a harder mode. Yeah, I like playing it through either in like normal mode or easy mode or story mode. I don't want to make it difficult because I want to enjoy the game and the experience that I have with this game. I'm not going to go and frustrate myself by playing it in a harder mode.
Now, Matt, I saw you shake your head at this. But I also feel like, you're too spoiled, I think, a little bit by Resident Evil with their hard difficulties, because you're right. They do remix the gameplay a little bit, and it does feel really fresh. Because some of these games that do have the harder, like the hard mode trophies, the hard modes in those games just are not fun. Like Uncharted, as an example. Like, I hate the hard mode in Uncharted, because I like Uncharted a lot, but it's just the hard mode. The only difference is that the enemies have double the health. and it
Yeah,
takes
bullet
forever to kill them.
sponges.
And I'm just like, this is not fun. This is not fun to me. So I think I agree with Fully in most cases. Whereas a game that I actually appreciated, similar to your example with Resident Evil 7, was actually Alien Isolation. I loved the hard mode for that for the same reasons, where it was like the enemy placement was totally different. The aliens like AI patterns were totally different. So you had to like avoid the alien in some really interesting and unique ways. And you just had to play the game really, like completely differently. Which I loved. I actually thought that was really refreshing. So I wish more games were like that. And that's what we think we should push it for more, is like just more interesting hard modes. Like if you're going to do a hard mode trophy, just make the hard mode like have like an interesting hook or have like an interesting difference to it.
Ghost of Tsushima, I don't think the platinum requires the hard difficulty, but the hard mode in that game is so good. Like it totally changes up. Like I think the hardest difficulty where it's like they hit you twice, you're dead. When you hit them twice, they're dead, because it's more realistic. Because like if you got slashed with a sword twice, like you're probably gonna drop on the floor. but changing it to that difficulty made the game so much more fun. It creates such a sense of like stress, but again, like you could take them out just as quickly as they could take you out. So I agree. Like I don't want a hard mode that's just you die with 1 hit and they die with 10 hits. Like that's not fun at all. But it actually changes the way that you have to play the game and pushes you to be better, to #get good. I'm all for it, and I kind of like it. And you know, maybe it's like a some superficial reward, because I don't know if I would have gone back to RE2, RE3, RE7 in hard mode if it wasn't required for the platinum. I don't know if I would have, but because the platinum says you had to try it on these difficulties, then I did, and that's how I got to find out that I enjoyed the harder mode. So yeah, I agree. Like the hard mode has to be done methodically, not just here's punishment. Like let's
Matt,
play the
you've
game
been doing
differently.
training for Elden Ring. I don't know why you just won't play it. All these hard
believe in
modes you
me?
keep talking about. You keep talking about all these hard modes, but you won't play Elden Ring. I don't understand.
You think I can do it?
I think you can do it. Yeah, at least give it a shot. Just say it. Get
I
in
got
there.
soft skin, Ron. I don't know.
I'll just say it.
I'm just amazed you're trying to get so many people to play Elden Ring, Ron. I didn't know this.
Matt especially. I mean, he plays hard difficulties in his favorite games. He doesn't do it for every game. But when it comes to Resident Evil, he'll hop on a hard mode on that in a second.
To be fair, I actually think Elden Ring is not that difficult. It's definitely like the easiest, I think, of From Software's games.
Well, I can only speak on that one. I won't touch the other FromSoft games. I can only go off of Elden Ring. And that whooped my ass enough.
No, because it has like the reason why I think it's easier is because it gives you the most tools to like make yourself better for combat encounters. Like you're much more prepared for combat encounters versus something like Dark Souls 3 as an example, where you just don't have as much freedom when it comes to, grinding up souls, leveling up your character and stuff like that. So it just naturally you're just, the encounters are just much more difficult in that game. But anyways, moving on.
I see Locke. I see you. Stop that. Elden Ring's not cheeks.
Oh man, actually, Lachlan likes to play hard games on her channel. I would actually really interested to see.
I watched a few of her hard runs with Celeste and a few other games. It was funny seeing the Locke rage. That was that's interesting to see.
Look, at least Lachlan made it farther through Celeste than Amanda did, and that's the main thing.
I am still gobsmacked that she finds Yoshi a rage game.
Oh man, I can't wait to show up to Extra Life this year in a Celeste t-shirt and be like, hey, I kind of want to just play a game of Celeste. This would be really fun. But
I want to show off my Yoshi platforming skills.
Yeah, look at us. Look at us. Well, let's just top in.
Oh boy. Yeah, oh boy.
Anyways, we got Awesome Dave 1337 who has a second question. Not about Final Fantasy VIII this time, you guys. Just thought of another question. I was moving some stuff around and I realized all my consoles are vertical. I know where some of the hosts stand on this topic, but I want to know from all of you, team horizontal like a savage or team vertical like a sophisticated individual? So,
well, we can already see one of your consoles that's in a specific position.
Well, actually, both my Xbox and my PlayStation are right next to each other, and they're both vertical.
Oh,
but
team vertical. Oh my god!
I will say, I am not a team vertical person. It just so happens to be the setup that I have in this department doesn't really work with horizontal consoles, especially with the PlayStation 5 because it's too dang big. So I have to keep it vertical. Otherwise, if it was my choice, horizontal all the way, baby. That's just who I am.
There it is. Let's go. Team horizontal.
Team horizontal,
right there.
no doubt.
Yeah,
for life. since childhood, and SNE, all of them. I feel like it just doesn't. It would feel so wrong to
That's
have
wrong.
it in
Yeah,
Team
you don't-
Vertical.
you don't
Do I
do
put my
that.
Dreamcast vertically? I don't think so.
Yeah, there's just certain things you
It
don't
just
do.
gets-
Yeah.
No, I just get paranoid. It's just gonna flop over for some reason,
Yeah,
especially
and that's
the
always
taller
a
it
worry
is.
too. Yeah,
It's
you
just
don't,
always
you
a
don't
worry.
sit
Like,
here and get a bowl of cereal and you put the milk in first and then the cereal. That's the same thing as going vertical. You don't do that. We don't do that
it's
here.
just, no, we don't. Mm-mm,
Mm-mm.
mm-mm.
See, for
For
me,
ya.
it really
Where you
depends.
at?
I'm kind of like Ryan when it comes to like just situational. It depends on the furniture and where the like just placement in general. I don't really have like, and the room is large, but my furniture doesn't always allow for certain positions of my consoles. So the shelf, it's not technically a TV unit. The shelf that my TV is currently sitting on, it's a cube shelf. My PlayStation 5 ain't fitting in that, regardless of which way I turn it. So
Diagonally.
unfortunately, no,
Just squeeze it in there.
no,
Yeah,
not happening.
Just prop it up on top of
Yeah,
something.
it'll be fine. Just kind of, it'll be fine.
I don't think you're supposed to do that with your consoles, dude.
No.
You can maybe do this, get away with that with Friends, the one with all the trivia on the PlayStation 2, but not your console, man. Not your console.
So yeah, for me so initially when I got my PS5, the only space I really had was on my desk and it was horizontal. Then I moved I did a bit of a fix, like I kind of changed up the room a bit and moved my furniture around. And so now my PS5 is vertical next to the bookshelf that my TV's on.
Oh, disgusting.
My Series S, however, I cannot have it. I don't want it horizontal. I've got my Series S vertical. And that fits into the shelf. So for me, it's vertical.
That's like the easiest one to fall over, though.
No, it does. It's fine. It's nice and snug next to the side of the shelf, and I can put extra stuff next to it because there's all this space above it that I can't put anything on top of this Xbox, and I don't want to ruin my Xbox. So that's why it is vertical, so I can add more into that shelf.
But
like
isn't
games.
it like covering the vent?
No, it's not. There's still enough space for the vent and everything.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe you.
Yeah.
You can see the speaker. You can see the speaker on the top.
Yeah, the boom box.
The amplifier.
Exactly.
That's what I was. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
As long as
I
you
can
can
see
see
it.
it. As
It's
long as you
fine.
can still
It's
see it.
fine. Like I said, it's situational. Like my PS1, unfortunately, does not have a vertical mode to it, so it is 100% horizontal regardless. If I had the PS2 Slim, that one might have been vertical. My PS3 Slim is horizontal because having it vertical just seems a bit weird.
As it should be. As it should be.
Yeah, as it should be.
And if I had my 360 out, which is currently packed away, that would have been horizontal as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. That makes sense. But anyways, moving on. We got Kiku's second question, or I should say, question of this week. Is there a game you initially refused to play, but someone managed to talk you into trying? Did you love it, hate it, or were you somewhere in between? Now, obviously, we've talked Ron into playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and he's of course playing and loving it. So that's the thing. Like if we could, this question just proves if we keep talking to you about it, you'll play it eventually.
Not going to happen.
So
Not gonna give up. Not gonna give up on you, Ron.
Yeah.
We'll keep doing it every week. Can't
Okay.
stop.
Okay.
Won't stop.
So it says we can't get through to you on this game. Was there a game, Ron, where someone talked you into playing that you actually really enjoyed?
Yeah. Rhyme. It's a puzzle game. I am not into puzzle games at all. It's usually if it's an action adventure or an action game with puzzles in it, that's fine. But straight up just a whole game, there's nothing but puzzle games. Usually I just pass on those. But my friend Max, he had played it. He loved it. He kept talking about it, and he was like, I think you might like this one. Give it a shot. It took it a while to convince me, but I had already added to my library when it was, I think it was a free PS Plus game. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. What the hell? And yeah, I end up really enjoying that game. The story told in between, the ending was fantastic. Yeah, there's not too many puzzle games I can say that I'm a fan of, but that is definitely one of them. I'm glad he convinced me to play that one.
Nice. What about you, Matt?
To be quite honest, Persona 5 actually took me quite a few tries. Shout out to Delroy from the Backtrackers, because he pushed me really hard to play it, and I did. And I didn't understand the systems at first, and I found it a bit overwhelming. And not, I also didn't understand what the game really was, which was it's not just a turn-based RPG dungeon crawler. It's 50% like a social simulator. So that was very confusing at first because I didn't look up reviews or try to understand what Persona was about. I just dived right in, expecting it to be a typical turn-based RPG. But half the time you're socializing, and I was getting frustrated in the beginning. Like, why do I have to keep talking to people and going to high school and taking all these lessons? Like, it was very frustrating. So I did put it down. But Josh talked to me about it, just to give it a chance. And so I went back with a more open mind, just to say, let me just see what the game is trying to give me the experience of. And once I actually put my expectations away and let the game give me the experience, so hooked on it. Like, I'm messaging Ron with pictures like nonstop about which waifu I wanted to date, all the hysterical parts. Like, I'm pretty sure I got to almost 100 hours. And now I'm a huge Persona fan because, I did listen to my friends like Josh who pushed me into it. And again, at first, I really wasn't into. I'm pretty sure I stopped playing for like a few months. Like, it wasn't abandoned, but like it was shelved pretty hard. And I thought it wasn't going to come back. But once I did, it's one of the best games that perfectly puts together more than one system together, and they complement each other, right? Like, if you don't socialize properly in that game, like, you're gonna get wrecked in those dungeons. So it made the social aspect not just rewarding in the dialogue and the characters that you're interacting with, but it also helps you when you're actually doing the turn-based stuff. So shout out to Persona 5, and can't wait to get into P3 Reloaded.
Nice. One day we're gonna get you to play it at some point, and then
Oh, yeah.
Persona 6. One day it'll come out. It'll be interesting to see what that is. All right. What about you, Fulia?
Honestly, for me, it was Final Fantasy 16 because it was because I never played a Final Fantasy game before. When they announced it and they said that there was a demo available, like the prologue, my workmate, who is also the current games coordinator in the store, he was convinced that I would enjoy it. He's like, look, if you like story, then you're gonna enjoy Final Fantasy 16. Just try the prologue, just play through a little bit of it, and if you don't like it, then you don't have to buy it. But if you enjoy the story, which he was like, I know you will, then buy it and play it because it's good. And I was umming and ahhing about it. I was very on the fence about whether or not I should pick this up because I'm very intimidated when it comes to the Final Fantasy games because of how long they can be, and the fact that it was an RPG game that I had never dipped my toes into, and it was just really interesting that he could tell that this was definitely something I would enjoy. And then once I played through the prologue, I was pretty much all in. I was very surprised with myself. I'm like, do I really want to play this game? Am I playing my first Final Fantasy game now?
That's how they get
last one.
That's what happened. Yes, Ron.
All listeners, I would also like to put out there that it's not just a story that Fulia enjoyed on Final Fantasy 16.
Why do I let myself run into this?
She has a photo album of nothing but Clive and Sid.
Oh, no. Not just... No. That is false. It's not just Clive and Sid.
It's not.
So, yeah.
No. This is secrets that you're airing out live on YouTube. Please tell us more.
Yeah, who else is in the photo album?
It's not who, it's the what, it's the locations, it's the scenery. That's what I love. And it's got no people in it.
For the plot.
I don't remember any of these pictures of scenery. Look, unless you're talking about Clive and Sid.
Just because they're not posted doesn't mean they're not there.
Exactly. See? Ryan believes me.
Ryan's the only one that believes you here. Me and Matt know the truth.
Yeah, I know you're playing for the plot. And I play Final Fantasy VII Remake for the plot too.
It's okay. We're all guilty of it. We're human beings. It's fine. It's fine.
They're beautiful people. Like,
Exactly.
come on. They want to be looked at. They want their photos taken.
Yeah.
Damn it, Matt.
Anyways, as for me, I was hard pressed to find an example just because I don't have a lot of friends that usually try and convince me to play certain games. It's just I think a lot of people who know me know that like I'm kind of stubborn and set in my ways when it comes to some stuff, and I'm just gonna play whatever I feel like playing, and that's just usually how that is. So I don't usually get too many people trying to convince me one way or the other. Oh, you got to play this game, because a lot of times by that point I've usually tried it for myself and usually have some kind of opinion on it. But the one I'm gonna bring up is actually similar to Matt's example, where this was a game that I tried playing on my own and just didn't really have a fun time with it, so I kind of shelved it very, very quickly. And that game is Catherine on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. I picked that game up because it got really good reviews, and I was interested in this like weird dating simulator / puzzle game made by the Persona team. Like it seemed like a really interesting game to me, so I wanted to try it out. And just I was really into the story, like the beginning parts of the story, but like I could not for the life of me get into the puzzle stuff at the time during my first playthrough. So I maybe got an hour and a half into the game and just put it down and never played it again. That was until I moved in with my last roommate, and she was like, "Hey, we should play Catherine together because I really enjoyed this game." And I told her, "Oh, well, I gave up on it." And she's like, "No, we should play it together, and like you'll understand what makes this game so good." And then we proceeded to play the game together. And like I had such a blast with that game to the point where that's like ended up being one of my favorite games of that generation, where it's so different from everything else and also so fun when you wrap your head around the puzzle stuff that like I really, really enjoy my time with Catherine, and I think it's a fantastic game. It's also just a shame that we never got like a sequel or anything else. We obviously got Catherine Full Body, which was like the re-release of Catherine on PS4 with like the extra route to go down. But I really love that game a lot, and I had given up on it to like Matt with Persona, where I was just like, nope, this game, I'm just like, it's kind of dead to me. I'm kind of good, but I'm so glad I went back to it. Yes, Fulia from the press pool.
I just want to give a shout out to a game that I was convinced to buy, but I didn't like, and it's pretty controversial because it's a Zelda game. I was convinced that I would enjoy The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on the Switch, so the remastered version, and I hard quit that pretty quickly.
Oh yeah,
I got to a certain certain area with a certain boss that I just could not for the life of me beat at all. And I was like, I rage quit that game, and it's been shelved ever since.
Oh, that's great, Well, every Nintendo fan that did listen to us is not going to listen to us anymore. Thank you.
Fulia, if it makes you feel better,
Fulia.
It's over.
If it makes you feel better, Fulia, I played 45 minutes of that game, and I'm just like, nope, I'm good. I don't need to keep playing this.
Oh, right.
And that wasn't the only Zelda game that I could not get through. So that's why I'm not a Zelda gamer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like that too. In fact, and people always laugh at this. My favorite Zelda game of all time is Zelda 2 on the NES. I love that game. So it's just like, it's so weird to everyone that I'm like, I haven't finished a lot of the other Zelda games because I just couldn't get into it. Like Link to the Past is like that for me. Like
Do not let Link's Awakening keep you away from the other great Zelda games. I'm not talking about that new crap, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Not that stuff. The Ocarina of Time. At least play that.
But those are the games
I tried.
Majora's Mask.
I tried it on 3DS and I couldn't.
Yon 32, what is happening right now? That's what I'd like to know. So much slander to like one of the greatest gaming franchises in history.
No one's going to worry about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
I never grew up on Zelda games. My parents never bought me Zelda games, so that's why I don't really have the same nostalgia as a lot of people have, and I don't have the same like I don't know, love for it. So, and when I tried playing it as an adult, it didn't click.
Yeah, actually, you and I have similar experiences, Fulia, which it maybe explains why you and I are maybe not super Zelda fans. Like, I didn't grow up with Zelda either. Like, the first Zelda game I ever played was Ocarina of Time when we rented an N64 from Blockbuster Video, and like I played it and enjoyed Ocarina of Time until I had to return it to the Blockbuster and never rented it again. Never went back and played it again. And that was my favorite Zelda game for the longest time. And then I, tried to get into, Link to the Past and stuff like that. Like, I actually have a Let's Play series on my old YouTube channel of me, beating the first Zelda game for the first time, and then beating Zelda 2 for the first time, and then going back and playing some of those games. And like, I like them, but I'm not like over the moon with Zelda. And in fact, it's actually like, it's probably like not even in my top 5 favorite Zelda or Nintendo franchises, Zelda. But again, I think we're built differently for it because we just didn't grow up with Zelda. Like, it was just, as an adult, I was like, I don't know.
It just didn't click.
I just wasn't really into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what, Fully, that was brave of you to say live on air.
It
Thank
was.
You. It was. Every Nintendo fan.
I needed to get that off my chest.
Oh, goodness. They are never going to let you on the Nintendo Drive now.
Now you understand fully what it was like for me when I went on RPG Cave with Garrett and mentioned that, number one, that Zelda 2 was my favorite Zelda game, and that it's also a role-playing game. So people wanted my head after that episode. But.
I don't know what it's going to be like after this.
Zelda 2 is horrible.
Horribly awesome.
Horrible awesome.
Honestly, I really hope one day they do like like almost like a Link Between Worlds, but with Zelda 2, and do like a modernized take on Zelda 2. I think it would be so cool. But anyway, moving on before we get kicked off the internet. HVAC Sparky asks the question: if you're able to hypothetically design your own PlayStation single player game, what would it be, and what features would it have that would separate it out from its competition and make it feel unique? So this is an interesting one because it's like, we're not, as far as I know, if I'm interpreting this question correctly, I'm not taking a PlayStation IP and then making that into another game, although you probably could make the pitch for one. Because honestly, all I want is just a new Resistance game from Insomniac, because I love those games, and it makes me sad that we stopped with Resistance 3 for some reason, because I guess no one bought those games except me. But I love Resistance. That's one of my favorite series from Sony. So what would I do? Honestly, I would make them, do like a big budget, turn-based role-playing game. So maybe something from Naughty Dog or another, first-party studio. Take like the money that goes behind some of these bigger franchises, but make like a turn-based game. I think that'd be super cool. But that's kind of where I'm at with this one. I don't know. I didn't really have like a big design doc for this one, but what does everyone else have? Did someone have a game that they wanted to design here?
I want like a rhythm game, like a dance rhythm game, but it has that Sony first party narrative experience in that dancing game. So even though it's a dancing game where it's like, kind of fun and whimsical, but like I want the story to make you depressed and sad, and then eventually makes you happy. Like I want some deep storytelling somehow. I'm not designing this game, but somebody figure it out. Okay, let it cook. You can figure it out. Where it's like a really deep, enriching story that's going to make you cry, but through dancing mechanics. Ryan from the press pool.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Ryan Turfer from Carpool Gaming here. Quick question. Is this dance game going to have like a storyline, like a dance movie, like something like Flashdance or, Save the Last Dance or something like that? Like what kind of story? Because you're talking about the story a lot with this dancing game. Like what kind of story does this game have? Is it like a Footloose or something? Like what kind of thing is it? What are you talking about?
No, it's a dark, depressing game that's going to make you sad. People are dying.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good
And
God.
maybe
So it's going to be like what, Dirty Dancing meets Last of Us? What is this?
Yes. Thank you.
It's a Yoko Taro game. That's
Thank
what
you.
this is.
No, we want it to
you.
make sense. Please, God, no.
Yeah. Clearly.
Somebody please make this game. You're welcome.
I like that idea. I like where your head's at on that one, because we don't get enough rhythm games nowadays too. That would be interesting. But what do you guys? Do you guys have a dream game they're fully on?
Give me a big budget Alpha Protocol 2. I mean,
let's go.
Yeah, Xbox can buy it back from Sega. I'm pretty sure they can get it on the cheap. You have Obsidian there. Toss money at them. Let them make the Alpha Protocol they wanted to make. I can't see how that'll go wrong. That's it. Just Alpha Protocol 2. That's it.
But this is Sony we're talking about. The question has to PlayStation.
Xbox games are coming to Sony, though.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And you already know how it's going to go. Nobody's going to buy the Obsidian game. They need all the copies they can get.
Yeah.
It's going to come to PlayStation. Trust me.
Yeah. So, fully is the real answer a big budget PlayStation versus the Pepsi Man? Is that what we're hoping for?
Maybe. No. I actually have two ideas. One that I'm just going to spiel off right now because it just came to my mind. I would like to see a PSVR game where you're kind of like a cooking simulator sort of situation. However, you're cake decorating or you're baking. So it's like a baking sort of a thing. I don't know what it is. I kind of like, because I like to bake cake and cookies and all that sort of stuff. But and I don't really get much of a chance to do that because a lot of the times my mum is the one that's using the kitchen. Sometimes she doesn't want me using the kitchen. so I'm like, I can do it virtually. Why not?
Yeah, just drop on your headset and you can start cake decorating. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I'd love to be able to just jump into a VR game where you have to from scratch bake the cake and then ice it and layer it up and then just do all the decorating yourself.
And get motion sick all over it.
Buttercream and no, it's not going to be that bad. I'm not going to be moving around that much. And then you're using your PSVR controllers to actually do the real life actions of I know you can just go out and do it yourself in the kitchen, but I feel like maybe it could be also like a learning experience, kind of like an educational game almost, where you're sort of learning how to do the skills of the actual, the kitchen skills that you need to be able to do these cake decorating and all that sort of stuff. So that'd be quite fun.
Fulia, I'm going to mention to you, this game that you're mentioning already exists. It's called Hell's Kitchen on the Wii. It's a game that already exists. Like, it got Gordon Ramsay. It's got cooking.
Seven people bought this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like
this is a nightmare.
I've never even heard of this.
Yeah, it's a real game that actually exists.
He hasn't heard of it either.
Look, I
don't want to be yelled at while I'm trying to play a game.
I've heard of Hell's Kitchen on the Wii. I actually have that in a box somewhere, Ron.
Oh, no, not you. I was saying the guy from the Hell's Kitchen. He's never heard of this game.
Gordon Ramsay has original voices in that game. I'm sure he knows that.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure Gordon knows all about this.
Yeah. Why don't we give him a call?
So that'd be really cool. A nice little PSVR game where you're doing all that sort of stuff. But the other one that I actually made a note of was like, I don't know if it'd be a big like a AAA sort of a game, but I feel like this would be more in terms of like a third party or an indie sort of a game where, because I've been enjoying Aiden Chronicle Rising, where you're just going around and kind of doing these different fetch quests and stuff for the story. I kind of just want that because it's like a nice sort of a chill time. And you're just going around and doing all these different things for different people. But I don't want it to be side-scrolling. I want it to be more open world, sort of a 3D sort of a thing. And it's just like a chill, relaxing, just go and go fetch things for people, beat bosses or whatever. Yes, Ron?
Hello. I just wanted to let you know that even though your game idea is a good one, there are a lot of people who hate fetch quest, and only 5 people will buy this game that you're talking about,
including me.
Yeah. Again, the question doesn't ask like, will people buy it?
Who will buy it?
Will Fulia play it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is my game design. I want to make it, and it'll be indie. So there.
Koala, you're riding a very dangerous line tonight. The Nintendo fans are already mad, and now every single RPG fan was like, a Fetch Quest game? Oh my god! And they lost their mind.
I'm sure there are people out there that like those type of mechanics.
I mean, there were plenty of Fetch Quests in Final Fantasy 16, so
exactly.
I haven't played it yet. I can't speak on it. I don't know.
I
question
really enjoyed doing the side quests of like Final Fantasy 16. And,
Oh, I bet.
And some
I
of
bet
these,
staring at Clive the whole time you were doing it, eh?
Yeah. Look, HVAC Sparky says that they would buy Felia's game.
Thank you.
Hey, I said 5 people.
Yeah. Good God.
Anyway,
I can't imagine a full game of Fetch Quest.
Thank you, Matt. I would be so mad at her.
I'd be so mad too if I bought that game.
I would be so mad at her. I would have to tweet her. Be like, please, never make games again.
I'm like, the whole
you're officially relegated to the duty of developing the next Friends 2, the one with all the trivia again.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
right,
the new mascot.
I'm gonna start my game development journey.
Yeah, right here, right meow, as one might say. All right. Anyways, last question or questions comes to us from Black Wyver, who says, "Good day, Fab 4. Inspired by Quaggy, here are a few console-related questions."
Sorry, I have to cut it. No, not good day. Good day.
Oh.
Look, I'm not from Australia. I don't know how to say Australia.
I am.
G'day? Is that what you?
G'day.
G'day.
G'day. There you go.
Oh,
Cool.
okay.
Straight through.
Anyways,
Good day.
good day, Fab 4. Inspired by Quaggy. I've got a few console-related questions. Number 1, when did each of you get your PlayStation 5 console? I got my PlayStation 5 when I could, which was a couple months after it came out, because they were impossible to get day one. At least I couldn't get one. And I saw basically the first one that popped up, which was a digital-only one, which is why that's the one that I have. And that's when I got mine. But when did everyone else get their PS5s?
I got mine at launch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Damn.
Most of us couldn't get it day one.
You must have known that,
I did not get it day
that
one.
person down the street who got the garage full of PlayStation.
No. I lucked out because Amazon and Walmart and everybody else, thanks to Jeff Keighley, putting out the word that all the stuff was already out before it was actually out. Everybody was sold out by the time midnight came. I struck out. I wasn't able to get nothing. But then, like about 2 hours later, I completely forgot that PlayStation was putting out their little thing about PlayStation Direct's going to have their own launch and blah, blah, whatever. Sign up for this email like a month or two before they launched. I got an email and it said, "Hey, this is your link, at 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Get in the queue. Make sure you're there. Don't leave." And I did what it told me to do. And I got one. That was it.
See, we don't have PlayStation Direct here in Canada or Australia, so we had to rely on other stores which barely had enough stock at all for launch day to hopefully get one. So I think
America, yeah.
What about y'all? When did you get yours?
Yeah, I remember getting mine around March of 2021, and I was trying my best to hold out for Shoppers Drug Mart here in Canada to carry PlayStation 5 in stock, because if you wait till Thursdays, which is seniors discount day, you could go there and get a discount. I'm not a senior.
About this. I forgot about that.
However, for my Nintendo Switch, I did bring my father-in-law to Shoppers Drug Mart so that I could buy the Nintendo Switch and get a discount. He was very proud of me for making good life choices and for giving me permission to marry his daughter. Anyways, I was holding out for Shoppers Drug Mart to have the PS5. It didn't come around. But I did see a posting about GameStop having it. So then I rushed to it, traded a bunch of games in to get the PS5. I don't even know I rushed to get it, because I'm pretty sure once I got it, the first game I played after Astros was Nier Automata, which I could have played on my PS4. I don't know why I rushed to get it.
Neither do I. What a waste of your PS5. Shame on you. Whoops. They could have gone to somebody else.
Well, yeah, because I imagine you're probably not like the hugest like Miles Morales fan or anything like that. Because that was the game that I was
played on PS4.
Oh,
I played at launch. That's why.
Gotcha. What about you, Fulia? When you get yours?
So I was I didn't get it day one, but I remember when I was hired at my current store, I was hired the week before the launch of the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. So for me, I was able to grab mine a month after. So about three and a half weeks after the actual launch.
Okay.
of the PS5. And it was at a time where the stock was so limited that we had a major wait list of people, wanting to get their hands on a console. And so we were lucky enough that as staff members, no discount at all, because Sony's really stingy about it. We did not get any discount on the console. So I still had to pay full price. And yeah, I was able to put one aside for me and buy one when it was available, when whatever the shipment came through at the start of December, and that's of 2020. Yeah. So that's when I ended up getting mine.
Well, the discount was the fact that you got to even buy the console. That was it. That was the discount you got. That was the deal.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that I had the ability to grab it that day rather than wait in the line with everybody else.
It's just like in Japan, where they had like lotteries to buy a PlayStation 5, where you would like enter into a lottery to then have the ability to buy a PlayStation 5. That was the thing.
Yeah.
So, right. Next question for Black Wyver is, do you regularly take off the covers and clean the covers on your PlayStation 5? I do this every couple months, but not regularly. Like, I don't do it like once a week. I'm not that person. But Fully, you made a face. I guess you don't do it at all.
The only times I've removed the covers is to swap out the colors of the covers and to put in my internal SSD.
Excellent.
That's the only times I open. Mind you, even though the last time I opened it up, it didn't look dusty at all. Like, it was still pretty clean. Yeah. So yeah,
it's pretty good about keeping dust out. Like, every time I've opened it to clean, I'm like, oh, I barely have to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you guys, Ron? Matt?
I just use a can of air on mine. I popped off the covers once, and I was like, "Yeah, this isn't as easy as they say it is," and I'm not going to do that every time. Yeah, I'm not going to do that every time I'm going to clean it. So, can of air around the vents as best as I can, and that's it. Yeah. It's still running great, so I must be doing something right.
For sure.
I'm with Fulia. Yeah, I regularly clean it when I take it off to swap colors and then leave it there.
Yeah.
So one time.
So speaking of getting new colors, have you customized your console and controller? I'm boring, and I haven't done any of those things. I still have the white covers on mine, as you can see.
I ended up getting the Starlight blue covers.
Okay.
That's the matching controller, DualSense controller, which is the blue is so close to the blue that I use as my channel branding. So I was like, this is perfect. I'll take it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Nice. What about you, Matt? What colors did you change yours to?
You can't stand the dual colors of black and white. I'm sorry. I think the PS5 is not very aesthetically pleasing, especially because of the dual colors. So as soon as they announced a black controller, I got the black controller right away, and I've been using it since. And once I got the plates, couldn't go back. Like I really don't like how the PS5 looks. It's a great system, but looks kind of funny. I remember even my wife walked in and she's like, "Is that the new system?" And I'm like, "Yep, this is PS5." And she's like, "Why is it so ugly?" I don't have an answer.
Good God.
And she doesn't even play games. Yeah. So no, I'm all black, baby.
Nice. Ron?
Mine's still the OG launch one. I'm not gonna waste my time with the covers. I don't care about the covers. I don't. Yeah. So controllers, on the other hand, I got a black one. I got the Spidey control one. I got the red one. Yeah. And then I got the OG one that came with it. But that's it though.
I was gonna say the only color controller I got was also the red one, but not like the red one. Like the maroon kind of red one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought about getting the pink covers for mine. Because I'm like, I think that would look really cool, but like, I never actually went out and did it. So, and they were kind of hard to find too, because like, I do have the digital version, and like, the digital covers for whatever reason are harder to find than the disc ones because there's just less of them out there. So I guess they just made less of the covers. But maybe I do that one day, but I haven't, done that yet. Although maybe at this point I'm just like, kind of like with Riley King, maybe just wait until the PlayStation 5 Pro, maybe customize that. So, and then last question from Black Wyver: how many DualSense / Edge controllers do you own? Do any of them have any bad drift issues? So I own 2. DualSense controllers, just the standard white one that came with the console, and then the maroon one that I talked about. The main reason why I have like the white one is I mostly actually use that for my PC. So that like when I play games on PC, I use the DualSense to play games on my PC. And so that controller is basically just dedicated to just PC stuff. And the maroon controller is the only one I use with my console. But Ron, you said you had a bunch of controllers, right?
Yeah, 4 of them. I haven't had any drift issues with any of them, even with the OG one. I played that with that one for a long time. That's probably got more mileage on it than any of my other controllers. And no drift issues. I've heard about a few people having them, but I don't know if it's a widespread issue or not.
Yeah, I know I haven't had any with either of mine either. So, what about you, Matt? How many controllers you got?
I only have the 2, so the OG that I came with the console, and then the black one. Never had drift, but my OG DualSense 5, the trigger actually stopped working within like a few months. It was very disappointing, and I remember vividly very well why it stopped, or the experience of it not working, because I'm pretty sure it was during my platinum run for Final Fantasy VII Remake, and my best friend was like, why are you playing like a scrub? Because he was watching me play to help me, and he's like, what are you doing? Like, why don't you just do this
Wow, so
command or block?
judgmental.
And I'm oh yeah. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I think I am, but something's not right. And then I think I went into Astrobot's Playroom to actually test out, because you know how like it forces you to do all the triggers,
Yeah.
and then and that's how I actually realized, like, oh, I'm not that bad at Final Fantasy VII Remake. The trigger was broken. So luckily, because
How hard were you mashing on the triggers? Good God.
hey, Final Fantasy VII Remake's a tough game, right? So you gotta press hard if you want to play hard. Okay, Ron.
Look, I'm surprised my controllers haven't fallen apart because of all the Final Fantasy 14 stuff I do with my controllers. Because my hand kind of broke first before the controllers did, kind of like Court when he played MLB The Show where he got his injury. Like I kind of had a similar thing with Final Fantasy 14 as well. So
Ryan knows what I'm talking about. Thank you.
I definitely do.
I don't want to hear it, man. I played plenty of games on my OG, and that thing has the triggers still work. I don't want to hear that.
Look,
you're not playing
just
hard enough, Ron.
Yeah.
Shit.
Get good, Ron. Get good.
There it is.
Elden Ring was played on that damn thing. I don't want to hear that.
But you clearly didn't play Friends, the one with all the trivia on the PlayStation 2.
Oh God.
That needs to come to PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, coming soon to PlayStation Plus. Well,
yes.
Fulia,
Sony won't pay for that.
what about you? How many controllers you got, Fulia?
So I've only got the 2. So the white one that originally came to console, and the Starlight blue one. As soon as it was announced, it was the first thing I pre-ordered, because I'm like, oh my goodness, there's a blue controller coming. I need it.
Is that the one that has Clive on it? A picture of Clive is on that one, right?
It's not customized. It is just plain blue.
Okay.
Nothing else.
Oh, okay.
Jesus Christ, Ron.
So make me come over there and slap the back of your head.
Yes.
But I haven't had any drift issues either, or any sort of button problems that I've been seeing a lot of people bring into my store, actually. I'm seeing, like, it's funny how all these people are coming in with their faulty controllers that are drifting, or that are having button problems or trigger problems. And like, you can feel it when the trigger's faulty, because it just goes real loose. And I was just like, oh yeah, that's really weird. But then we also test the controllers through a particular like site where you can test your controller, and you can do it at home too, where you just plug your controller into your PC and it just shows you the mapping. And when you see that the numbers are going off without you touching anything, you've got a problem. So it's just funny how many people have come in with faulty controllers, and I'm just surprised that neither of my 2 have had these issues, or none that I've noticed, to be honest. So yeah.
No, it's just random. It just seems like random shit. It's just like the Switch drift situation where, like, some people just had no drift issues the entire console, and then others like me, like my launch Joy-Cons, they were drifting within a week. So sometimes that just happens. So
my Joy-Cons never had a drift issue. Mine had a connection issue. So it would randomly disconnect from the console, and then when you'd have to take it off and reconnect it to get it back to connecting again. But then it would then disconnect all of a sudden. So that was the only issue I had with my Joy-Cons.
That somehow actually sounds more annoying than
Yeah.
than the drift issue.
Than
actually.
drifting.
Yeah. But good God.
Yeah,
Well,
that's it.
nice. Well, Black Wyver also wishes us happy weekend as well. So there
Well,
you go.
thank you.
Oh, thank you
Same
very
to you.
much.
You too.
Yes.
Thank
There
you.
go. But anyways, I think that's going to do it for tonight's episode of the PlayStation Drive. But before we go, where can people find you on the internet, Ron?
Savoy Prime everywhere except for Twitter. Savoy_Prime. Savoy Prime everywhere else. Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, backlogged, all that.
Nice. Matt, where can people find you?
You can find me at Ngachacha on Twitter and in Discord. I've already posted a few photos and videos of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So you might want to follow me because I'm just getting started. There's gonna be lots of photos and lots of videos.
Oh
Yep.
boy.
Ron, make sure to turn on those notifications.
Oh yes,
Yep.
God help us all. Thank you.
And Fuya, where can people find you?
You can find all of my socials and content platforms on foolishfuji.card.co. That's card with 2 R's. And yeah, you can find all those there. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram, and X. And in the Discord, I'm just Foolish Fuji. If you want to add me on PlayStation, Foolish Fuji. There you go.
Nice. Well, as for me, you can find me playing my PlayStation 2 over here, playing Friends, the one with all the trivia, while also hanging out on X at Ryan Turford. You can also find us on X at Carpool Gaming, right here, youtube.com/Carpool Gaming, and of course, podcast services around the globe. But before we go, we also got to say thank you to all of our patrons. We're at patreon.com/Carpool Gaming. Started with our ultimate producers, Tony Baker from the Quest 4 Pixels podcast. You can check them out over at youtube.com/Quest4Pixels today. That's the number 4, not 4 spelled out. Also, Jonathan Brown, the man behind the music on this podcast, as well as the Xbox Drive. The link to all of his music can be found at his link tree, linktr.ee/PME/JIB. Again, the link can be found in the description of this podcast. Lee Navarro, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. You can check them out over at phoenixoverdrive.com, or as well, just join the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team over on Extra Life. We hope to maybe see y'all in November for Extra Life. And Cwagmire humbly reminds you that the best babes are in fact Xenobabes, as well as our gold members Adam K, Anna, Awesome Dave 1337, BobLoblaw, Brad Moore, Brian Reese, Cecily Carrozza, CrocoKyle, Dan and Luma, Dannohh, Emily O'Kelly, Yon32, Marcus O'Neill, Peje EP, and Tim Aulph. So huge thank you to all of our patrons. And if you want to hop in the car with us, head over to patreon.com/Carpool Gaming and choose the tier that's right for you. And for Fuya and Ron and Matt, I'm Ryan. This has been the PlayStation Drive, episode 139, and we're out. Good night, everybody.
See ya.
Adios. Thanks for checking out this week's episode of the PlayStation Drive. Now, before you drive off, please make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow us at Carpool Gaming on socials. Don't forget to check out our awesome merch on carpoolgaming.com, and you can also support the show on Patreon at patreon.com/carpoolgaming, where you'll unlock all kinds of exclusive content. Links to everything are in the description.